to the Fox 24 Morning Edge.
Continuing political week here on the Fox Morning Edge. This year's election had its share of up and down moments, and Springdale history teacher Winfield Watson saw it as the perfect opportunity to teach his students about American government and the entire democratic process. Mr. Watson, thank you for coming in this morning. Talk to me, this year we were just discussing was the first time that Central Junior High, where you teach, made this a school-wide event to have kids take part in this.
Yes, ma'am. It was our first time to do this. We decided to take advantage of the presidential election because we have a portion of our students who will actually be voting in the next election. So we wanted to, the next presidential election.
Yeah.
So we wanted to get them informed and teach them the process.
Okay, so how do you go about doing that? Because the election can be a complicated thing for adults to digest. How do you make it so that kids understand what's going on?
Well, it was an easy process, but a difficult one at the same time. We got started a couple of weeks ago, planning this out, and our social studies department got together and decided, we want to do something with the election. And once we got that working out, we decided to get the other departments involved. So it truly was a school-wide event, and we couldn't ever have done this without getting the math department, the English department, the science department, the vocational departments, and administration. I mean, just truly everybody was on board with this, and that's how it just kind of snowballed into that, and it worked out great in teaching these kids what they need to do.
And there's something for every teacher to jump in on, because, like, for example, you were saying the math instructors were talking about statistics and numbers, and crunching numbers, things like that.
The math departments were crunching the numbers that we had. We held a mock election in the social studies classes every hour of the day, all 7 periods of the day.
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday.
Okay.
And each class was either 1 or 2 states, so we also had an electoral vote as well from those classes. As soon as we were done with those numbers, we ran those numbers to the math department and our own video productions group with the Springdale Schools TV system and Coach Stewman and Mr. Jones. They came out and when we were doing live updates as well at the end of each hour. And then the English department was also writing about the presidential election and tying that to a book that they've been reading. And the science department was doing current issues and platform between parties. The vocational department had made buttons that said "Go vote," and also Family Consumer Sciences cooked cookies, and even the cafeteria had beef Obama tacos and mint grilled chicken sandwiches.
You're kidding! Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
The whole school was on board, from all the way from the top down. So.
What you're describing to me sounds just as exciting as, say, our newsroom here on election night. I mean, you guys had people running all over the place. It must have been sort of an electric atmosphere in that school.
It was. All the kids were wearing red, white, and blue, and they had buttons. We had campaign signs. We even had the PE classes outside, not campaigning for a particular candidate, but campaigning for the people driving by to go vote. So it was just electric all day long.
So I've got to ask you, who ended up being elected at Central Junior High?
Well, it was a narrow margin, but President Obama won by about 18 to 20 votes, I think, and he also overwhelmingly took the Electoral College vote there as well.
Not far off from the way the national scene unfolded.
We even broke it down by gender vote, where the female vote actually was in large percentage for President Obama in the middle.
Was it really?
Yes,
wow, that's interesting.
We had all the math department did a great job with all the statistics, and like I said, it was truly a school-wide event, and it was just not one person. I happened to be the person talking about it, but it was the whole school.
Well, thank you for coming in so early and talking to us about this. This is great, and hopefully maybe next year we can come, or not next year, next election, we can come out there and cover it.
Well, we are carrying it on this week with our annual Veterans Day program, which starts tomorrow at 9 a.m., and we hope to see its largest veterans program for a school in Northwest Arkansas, so we're glad to have that out there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Watson, for coming in. We appreciate it. Have a great day, and still a lot more to get to this morning. Up next, we're going to have a complete recap of the changing guard here in the Arkansas legislature and how both sides are reacting to it. But before we go to break, we